Hey, Sherry Ann, I see you out there. Can you hear me, Sherry Ann? Can you see me and can you hear me? Let me know if you can't hear me or you can see me. Hey, I see Sherry Ann. Okay, I can't really reach that far to wave, but I see you, Sherry Ann. So I can see the comments coming across my screen. So just let me know if you're there so I can recognize you. Okay, so back to what I wanted to talk to you about today, right? I just wanted to come back and introduce myself to the audience and sort of give everybody a background on what I actually do and the type of travel that I actually, provide for people. See, travel is such a broad thing. It used to be back in the day when there used to be brick and mortar stores, where you walked into a office or building and you went and sat down and worked out your travel with a person. There are still some brick and mortar travel agencies around, but more often than not, a lot of travel agencies are either independent contractors or they're either home-based agents. They either work for another agency or they work for themselves or they work for a consortia. And the consortia is just a group of travel agencies, travel suppliers, folks in the travel industry that banded together they started these consortia like 30 years ago in order for them to negotiate as a group for better rates in travel. So these consortia, they are still around. The one that I belong to is called Travel Leaders. So back to what I do. So I got notes and I got like cue cards here so I can help keep myself in the frame, and on track of what I'm doing here. So going back to what I do, I help you live the dream and live it through travel. That's my goal. So how do I do that, right? Well, I do custom travel experiences. I put together packages for people. I put together travel adventures for people. Custom travel experiences, end-to-end travel from cradle to grave. So E to E, end to end. So I do it from inception till the time that you travel and get back home. So I do everything. So I'm not just a booking agent, just like a clerk or like some of these online travel tools that you see. They are online travel agencies, actually, like Expedia, booking.com, Book It. They're actually online travel agencies, except they're online. So they basically focus more on just providing you with a lot of inventory and a tool for you to try to figure it out. The only thing about that is with the tool, you really don't have the insight into the properties. You really don't have the insight into what you're going to see when you get there. You really don't have any insight into what kind of room it's going to be, sort of like, like Russian roulette, you're just guessing. But, with the internet, people want to have that control. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. That is how I started. Finding things online. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. And if that's the type of travel that you like to do and you like to book your own travel, hey, have at it. That's wonderful for you. However, that's not my client base. So I just wanted to sort of like clear things up, set the expectations here about what I do and how I do it and who I do it for. So who do I serve? So me, Priscilla at Cilla Travel, and my assistant, Caitlin. I serve super busy people. I serve people who are high performers. I serve business professionals. I serve professionals, whether that be engineering, whether that be teaching, any person that's, has a really demanding job and they put a lot of themselves into their profession because, that's really an extension of themselves. And these days, if you feel any type of loyalty or any love for what you do for your profession, then that really consumes a lot of your time. And I also serve entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurs is like another underserved group of people, because in this day and age, we have a lot of people who are establishing their own businesses, like the millennials. That's not my group, but the millennials, they think a little bit different than many of us from some of the earlier generations. I was brought up, you get a good job, you go work for the civilian service, get a pension, and then you work and then you retire. So that was back in the day. So I'm at the end of the baby boomers age. So actually I'm straddling the baby boomers. I think that's generation X, I think, the next generation. I'm in between. My sister was the next generation. So we're like 11 months apart. So I also serve retirees. So retirees a lot of times are like in my generation and older. There actually is some people who retire earlier, but generally this generation of people, they've worked all their lives, they've amassed a little bit of savings, they have a comfortable life. They don't necessarily want to just search the internet and try to figure all that stuff out. So they understand the importance of hiring a person to do something that they don't specifically specialize in. So I see someone. Hello there, Jackie. I see you. Nice to see you. So I just wanted to give a shout out. Let me hide that. Okay. So let's see. Retirees, like I said, enjoying their golden years. And I intend to be doing that soon, soon and really, really soon. So I consider myself to be a part of that group. I'm like almost right there. Haven't retired yet, but almost right there, ready to retire. So let's see. How do I serve? Well, what I do is I do all the research. I do all the planning. I plan the trips. I select excursions. I select hotels, resorts. I select these things based on what my clients request that I do for them. Otherwise, they would be doing it for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on end. So if you hear any noise in the background, I have people at my home who really like to watch wrestling. I do too, but I think it's more important to talk to you guys right now. So, so back to what I was saying. I do all the research. I do all the planning for you. This is your trip. This is your adventure. This is what you save your money to go on. This is the thing that you do, the activities that you take in order to decompress, to de-stress, to get away from the grind. I know what the grind is, okay? Because I've just, like I said, I'm in the IT and engineering field, and I've managed technical projects for organizations. That's no easy thing. I'm telling you, there's just a lot of responsibility. There's so many moving pieces when you're into technology, and you have to please all of the people, because technology is, let's face it, is there to facilitate the business. Okay. That's what it's there for. So the business, they're the ones that are driving. So the use and technology to make things easier for them. So if you're in any type of field that's technical, if you're a teacher, you have that merging of technical into your profession. If you're a doctor or a nurse, or and you work in a medical professional, there's a lot of technology that goes into your profession. So you have to learn all of these other things in addition to what your skill is, what your profession is. So that environment creates a lot of work for people. It creates an environment where we just work, and we're hyper focused on getting our jobs done, and we don't have a lot of time to spend with our families, so, but it's important. It's important that we take time to spend with our families. We need to get away, because before you know it, your children will be grown up. My children, they're grown up. It just seems like yesterday that my daughter, my youngest, she lives with us. She's in college. It seems like yesterday she was 3 years old. I still see her as 3 years old, but she's really an adult. Everyone else, they're adults, so you'll never get those years back. So you want to take advantage of spending time with them. Even though you work, you still block off some time to take off out of your schedule, out of your busy schedule, of your busy life, to get away. You want to have some adventure. You don't want to think about work while you're away and not at work. So Travel is something that people, it feeds their soul, it feeds their wanderlust, things that they've dreamt of doing when they were children, that they haven't been able to, live. So they take time out to do it because you only have one life. So that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to put those end-to-end travel plans together for you. So let's see, what else do I do? I also advocate for you. So it doesn't stop there once I put the trip together for you. So it's like, it's a working symbiotic relationship between me and my clients. I fill out a questionnaire for them. I try to get to know who they are, try to understand what their dreams are, what their preferences are. Sometimes people don't really know, but you may want to just throw some ideas at me so I can help you dream. So this is a partnership, So I just do all of the heavy lift. I do all of the labor while you do all of the dreaming. And then if you decide to be one of my clients, you just call me. You just email me. We'll just start working on that for you, So I also, another thing that I do, and especially in this day and time, post COVID-19, I advocate for my clients. Wow. So that's a mouthful. So I'm going to go back to the past just a little bit, and I hate to do it, but I have to, because like I said, back in the past, people used to go to travel agents in a building to book their travel for them. It was a service. Then when computers and the internet, online booking engines and online travel agencies became available, people started booking it for themselves because they're looking for a less expensive option or the cheapest. They want control. You can't blame them for that, right? I've been there before. However, what you don't know is you're not on the inside track. So people have learned after COVID-19 how important having an individual who's a person that you work with, that you've hired to work on your behalf, to plan your trip for you, to put it together and to advocate for you. You have someone that you can call in case something goes wrong. You have someone to call in case something happens while you're overseas. If you go overseas and something goes wrong, you have somebody to help you. You have somebody to get in contact with these travel suppliers. It's difficult many times to get in touch with them, and you're trying to travel at the same time. But that's what travel advisors are for. We're also called travel concierges. Some people use that term. Some people still use travel agent, but the new term now is travel advisor because we do more than just book tickets. We advise our clients. And we also help them. We help them with their travel dreams. We put it all together, so there's a lot of different types of travel now. Because people are so busy, they also travel in groups. It's called multi-generational travel, that one specific type of group. And that's like when you have 3 generations of people traveling together, right? Because let's say that, people, take jobs and they're all spread across the country, maybe even overseas, abroad, people living abroad or studying abroad, or, and their families are, living abroad, people get together, they have a trip, and they enjoy each other. And, those can be very difficult things to do, to try to plan and coordinate all of the activities for the different generations. You got your little children, you got yourself as parents, then you may have your parents. Everybody's needs and desires and what they want for their trip and the expectations are different. But that's where I come in. That's why you hire a professional to take that burden off of you. You just hire me, you let your travel professional know, hopefully hire me, your travel advisor know, these are the people, these are their ages. And then I start working with each person in the group to figure out what's the best fit for the group in its entirety, as well as figure out what's best for each individual person so that everybody can have a great trip. And then there's no fighting, there's no arguing, there's no confusion about who's going to do what. Everybody gets to have an enjoyable trip to spend time with each other. So that's the newest and the biggest thing right now that's really exploded, multi-generational travel. There's also luxury travel. So I really consider myself to be in the luxury travel space because luxury travel has really changed over the course of years. A lot of times, when I was growing up, Fantasy Island used to be the thing that I used to watch. This was like in the 70s or something like that. Growing up as a kid, there was a cruise. They all dressed up in white suits and they went on these fabulous trips to these tropical islands. They had a person dressed in white, and these people seemed like they were uber rich. The idea that you fly off on a Learjet somewhere, that's, of the past. Of course, there are some uber rich people who do those things now, but it's not just reserved for, the higher 1%. It's not reserved for them. These days, people can do the same things, with the help of a travel advisor. So I would encourage each and every one of you, even if you don't hire me and you know somebody that's a travel advisor, you might know somebody. I just really want you to understand what the benefit is of using a travel advisor, and the benefit of dealing with that person, somebody that that person is going to be a friend, someone who year after year, once you establish that relationship, they manage all of your trips and your travel. All you do is tell them what you like. They know what you like going forward. And they just, when things come up that we as travel professionals come across, when deals come up or when, special outings or special excursions, special events come up that we think would suit our client, we're like, hey, guess what? This is coming up. I think this would really, really suit you. So how about it? Let's see what we can do, to help you dream, help you get outside of the box, help you realize the dream that you have. So that's another thing. That's a benefit of working with a travel advisor. And that's what I do. And like we advise you, we do all of these things. We advise you on travel documents, what to have, whether it's your passport, your visa, your real ID if you're a United States citizen, when it's good, when you can leave the country, what country you can go to, what country to avoid, what airlines are doing what, when, and for whom. All of these things are fluid, especially since COVID-19. So travel advisors have really stepped up and saved the day for many, many travelers who got stranded when the coronavirus hit, and they were stranded, abroad. And some of them weren't even our clients, and we helped them. So that just lets you know that this is a profession as well. And it's a worthy profession. And we do it because we love doing it. And we love seeing what we can do to help people like us, experience their dreams. Because traveling is really a luxury. To me, travel is a luxury. You get to, will you die if you don't travel? No, but it's a luxury. It's something that you can plan for. It's something that it makes your life better. It expands your horizons. It expands your mindset as you start exploring and learning about different cultures and different people, that we're not all the same. We don't all do the things the same, everything the same way. We don't all think the same way. We don't all eat the same thing. However, we're still human beings. We're still made in God's image, all of us. We're just different. We have different culture. There's no right way and there's no wrong way. So we're all the same. God sees us all the same, So we just, it helps us to be more accepting of other people, and appreciative of other people, and appreciating their culture, appreciating the rich experiences that they might have to offer to us by sharing their culture with us, and vice versa. So, and when I say us, I'm talking about us mainly based in the United States, since I'm based in the United States. But it doesn't have to be the United States. It could be anywhere. That goes for anyone and anywhere. So let's see, what else do we do? I also help people with their payments. Not everybody can just write a check and, pay cash and say, okay, I'm just going to go on this trip, a world trip, and I'm just going to pay cash. No, I help with the payment arrangements, and I keep track of all of that. And I use technology. I use technology because that's just one of the things that I just like doing, and to manage all of those things, to manage your payments, payment reminders, give you your balance, make sure that it's secure, you're able to do all of those things. So yeah, manage payments. And let's say you have a group, manage all that stuff for your group. So just think about that. Let's say you want to do a family reunion. And I know some of you like to do family reunions. A lot of people that I know that are clients and friends, they're like, I love going on a family reunion. It's my turn to do it. But oh my God, I don't even want to deal with my family because I know how they are. I hear that all the time. I know how they go. I don't want to do it. So I would rather get somebody else to do it. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that I do. So I could be that buffer between you and your family. If you're having a family reunion, maybe you belong to a sorority or a fraternity or something like that. You can do a group trip as well. You can do a group cruise, and you can also do group land packages. So the more the merrier. The larger your group, the more comps you get, like complimentary services you get. So these are things, the inside track that travel advisors like myself know, and we know how to put these things together, and we make it easier for you. And all you have to do is promote it, and I take care of all the rest in the background. Okay, so cradle to grave, I think we talked about that. What do I do? End-to-end travel planning, custom travel. I consider that luxury because it's a luxury for someone to wait on you, do it for you, put it together for you, and all you do is you just show up. That's a luxury. Voila, that's luxury travel. Yes. So I don't know about you, but I like to be treated extra nice and extra special. I like to be waited on because many of us have families and we wait on them a lot, especially if we're married and have children, we wait on them, so you want to have someone wait on you. That's a luxury that I look forward to when I travel, so I like to go places where, I can just walk in and they're like, how are you, ma'am? How are you doing? What would you like? Do you need anything from me? I like that. I enjoy that, making me feel important, making me feel valued, wanting me to be there, happy faces, wonderful times, but for a week, because many times that's all we have is a week. You might get 2, but you may not be able to travel during that 2. But yeah, that's what travel is all about. You take that block of time, you block it off, and then you got to pack in your dream. I help you do that. So now that I talked about what I do for my clients and the benefits of using a travel advisor, I'm just going to answer a couple questions that I get from a lot of people. I already went over some, but a lot of people ask, why should I use a travel agent or a travel advisor? So I just went through all of that on what I do for my clients, right? So just in the general sense, travel advisors have access to information that you won't be able to get that. You won't be able to get that if you go on Travelocity. You won't be able to get that. I guarantee you won't be able to get that. I have people calling me because they're like, I went online and I saw it, but I can't tell what the room really looks like, and they can't reach anybody. Because when you're on those online travel agencies, they don't have someone who's a specialist that's on staff to talk to that specific property. It's just a conglomeration. It's a website of a whole lot of deals, a whole lot of inventory and options that various travel suppliers put there so that people can search. But the suppliers only put some of the inventory there. They don't put all of their inventory there. So sometimes you can acquire that space online, while other times, you need a travel advisor to actually talk to these managers, these hotel managers, resort managers. They talk to us. They want to talk to us. They rather talk to us because we speak the same language and we send them clients and they make our clients happy. Then we send them back. We recommend those clients and more clients to them. So it's like a symbiotic relationship that we travel professionals have with the suppliers. So like I said before, we can make direct phone calls and we make direct communications with these resorts and hotels, and we negotiate. We also negotiate for you. We negotiate rates for you. Not only you may be able to go online and pick something that you think is like a super uber deal because it's dirt cheap, but we have a relationship with these suppliers where we can actually do some special for you. Like, let's say there's a birthday, I can call the manager. They'll talk to me and say, hey, I've got someone who's going on their 60th birthday and come to your place. I need something special. I need you to do something for me. I could do that. Travel advisors could do that, because we have that symbiotic relationship. They're going to talk to us about that, and we talk to them. So let's see what else we do. And like I said, a lot of people like going on these online booking engines because they feel like they're looking for the cheapest thing and you have control. There's nothing wrong with that. I've been there before. If that's what you want to do, good. But not everybody's there. The people that I serve don't want to do that. So, and I just want to tell you, the cheapest option that you find online is not always the best option. Many times for what you find online, a travel advisor like myself can get you the room, can get you some extra special, a bottle of wine, can get you flowers, can get you additional comps, can get you tickets, and roll all of that into your trip, that you might have just paid for just a room. And then when you get there, I got a good room here. Yeah, it's really cheap. And then you get there and you're on the second floor in the corner over the garage or facing the courtyard where they're doing some construction. Well, yeah, that's why it's the cheapest room there. And then you got to watch out for those non-refundable rates. So there's just so many pitfalls that are out there. There's just so many things that you have to be aware of, and you're not if you're just a customer. And we don't expect you to. So that's where you have travel advisors. We specialize in that. We learn this stuff. That it's our job to pay attention to all of these things and advise our clients and protect our clients so they don't have to go through all of these, because something like that, one wrong thing that happens can ruin your entire trip. I know one time we went to a resort that my family and I in Orlando, that we went to for many, many years. And for some reason, I don't know what happened. They got new management or what. We went to this resort and we expect to have this lovely place, this lovely condominium. We go there. The water pipes, things are hanging out of the sink, under the sink. The washing machine is not working, and we're like, something like that can ruin it. They're like, okay, we'll get you another room. They move us to another building. We go to the other building and it's one of the old buildings and it's just run down and the furniture is terrible. And we're like, oh my God, no. So something like that could just set your vacation off on the wrong foot, and in your vacation, you're there to enjoy and relax and unwind and have an enjoyable time, not have to deal with drama. So these are the sort of things that could go wrong with let's say that it rains and you go someplace. Your travel advisor can find things for you, things that you can do when it's raining in your city, off the beaten path, cultural activities, if you're into that kind of thing, concerts, you just let me know what it is that you want and I'll do the research for you and I'll put it together for you. Okay, so when will travel be safe again? So I said this before, that's a loaded question, right? It appears that it's sort of safe, pseudo safe, right? So, can we travel in the United States? Yeah, but where can we travel to? And every single locale is different. Like where I live in Charleston is different than, let's say, Nashville or Louisiana, like New Orleans, it's different. Or, San Francisco or New York City, it's different. Every region is different. Even in the United States, everything is different. So there's so many different rules. We have 50 states for those of y'all who are watching me and live in another country. We have 50 states and they're like almost like 50 independent little countries. So the rules are different, and each locale is different. What's going on in my town may not be the same going on in another town. So all of these things, we have to be cognizant of, and I don't expect you to do that. That's what we do. That's what I do. That's what travel advisors do. As soon as our governments deem that it's okay to go travel outside of the country, we'll know, right? So right now, they're lifting restrictions in many countries. Our closest neighbors to the U.S. are the Caribbean and Canada. So Canada, the borders is still closed, as far as I know. I can't wait so I can go visit. But the Caribbean, everybody loves the Caribbean. the tropics. It's beautiful. There's so many things to do. It's like a paradise. You're completely leaving all of your stuff behind. You just pack a bag and go, and they roll out the red carpet for you. But there's so many countries, so many different islands. They have different rules. Some of the islands are opening up. The Bahamas, like I did a live, couple of lives, did one yesterday and briefly talked about it the day before. The Bahamas is opening on July 1st, but there are certain things that you have to adhere to. So if you look in my Facebook, cillatravel.com, you can find it from cillatravel.com. But if you go to Facebook, Cilla Travel Facebook, you'll see the video. You'll see a video on, and I'll probably post something on Instagram or upload it to IGTV so that my followers on IG can find it, but there's just so many things that you just need to be cognizant of. So now that we're talking about destinations, I'm just going to be brief about it. So in the Caribbean right now, these are just a few islands, right? Aruba is set to reopen to international tourists on June the 15th. So yeah, they're saying, yeah, we're going to open. We're going to allow international travelers back in our country. Woohoo! Yeah, they're saying that. But I still got to pay attention because there's some caveats. So far, I didn't hear about any caveats to Aruba, what they're doing, but I still have to pay attention. These are things that we have to pay attention to. What's going on with this COVID? Because things could change at the drop of a dime. Okay, so here we go. The Bahamas, like I said, they're set to reopen on July the 1st. Barbados, they're at phase 3, I believe. They're still at phase 3 of their reopening plan. And right now, if they're going to be reopening, they are reopened. However, if you're going to their country, you have to quarantine for 14 days. Wouldn't that be nice to know before you go? Yeah, so that's where they are right now. Puerto Rico, open. They're in the Caribbean, but they're actually a United States protectorate. They're like a colony. They're a part of the United States. They opened, but they've got restrictions. They're also implementing a 14-day quarantine if you come into their country. And you don't even need a passport to go to Puerto Rico because they're part of the United States. But if you get there, when you go there, you have to quarantine. So there's just so many things that are happening right now. So now I'm going to go pivot and go back to domestic, because right now I think that domestic may be attainable for people for the next 6 months or so until the walls of travel, the gates sort of open up. Right now, they're just doing it a little at a time, but they're testing the waters. The early adopters are testing the waters. They're trying to see what's going to happen, and they're trying to see how. And there's just so many factors and complex levels of complexity for the industry that it's just not going to happen just like that. It's just not going to be like, boom, it's open. Like it closed, it seems like it closed like that. And that was really traumatic for people as well as the industry. And they really want to open, but they have to be careful. So back to domestic. Las Vegas, they're open. They opened sometime last week. So if you're thinking about going to Las Vegas, they're sort of not very crowded at this point in time. Las Vegas sees a lot of people, but right now they're not that crowded at all. They've done some retrofitting in some of the, in the casinos where they've put like plexiglass around the dealers around the tables, and the folks who service and play the games, because I'm not a gambler or anything like that, but they're having these masks cover their faces and things like that. They're doing enhanced screenings. They're trying to limit the number of people who come in, and they're spacing out the people between, like on these roulette tables and these blackjack tables, they're spacing it out. But people don't only go there to gamble, they go there to see live shows. So it's still not crowded yet. It's still not a lot of people going there. So people are a little, I guess, they're a little shy about going, but now would be a good time if you wanted to go to Las Vegas. But to know the best places to go, when to go, where to go, what to do, what's open, what's not open, contact a travel advisor. That's what we do. Contact me. Get on my calendar. If you look on Facebook or for your Instagram people out there, look in the bio. you'll see there's a link that tells you how to get on my calendar. Get a discovery call. It's right at the top on Instagram in the bio, and then on my website, www.cillatravel.com. It's in the banner. Get a discovery call. And on Facebook, if you click contact me, it'll take you to my calendar. Schedule a time with me. Even if you just want to bounce some ideas off of me, it's complimentary. So just take advantage of that before things pick up. Let's start doing some 2020 planning, 2021 planning. 2021 will be here before you know it. It's June. We only have 6 months before 2021 hits us. So a lot of times when you plan that cruise, 9, 11, 10, 12 months out. Now's the time to be planning your cruise. So you could plan for next June's cruise. Start planning. That Mardi Gras, the Carnival Mardi Gras, that's going to be having its voyage this fall because it's coming. It's being built. It's being finished up in Europe. It's maiden voyage will be that trip from Europe. Well, I guess they'll have one in Europe, but they'll be coming from Europe here to the U.S. And then that's the most innovative ship that Carnival has. It's got, like I said yesterday, it's got a roller coaster on it. It's also a green ship. So it burns this liquid type of natural gas. I forget what the term and the acronym is, but it's a green ship. So Carnival over the years had been taking a lot of heat over environmental issues, dumping of stuff into the oceans. Well, these new emissions, now it burns less emissions, So, hey, start planning your cruise. A group trip on a cruise, that's a good idea. A family reunion on a cruise, that's a good idea. That's a good option, because the cruise lines right now, they're offering all sorts of incentives. They're offering packages now if you book now. So I'm not saying you have to leave and travel now, but book now. Contact me. Get on my calendar. I will help put something together for you. So just keep in mind, I do end-to-end travel. So if you want to have a vacation, contact me. If you're looking for just the cheapest thing you can find out there, I got to tell you, I got to be honest. If you're looking for a cheap cruise, you might as well go online. That's not what I do. I do end-to-end travel planning. I do custom travel packages for people, and I could do that on a cruise as well. So you don't only want to cruise when you get to your destination. When you like to go to a resort for a day, what are you going to do when you stop off at these different places? Plan that. I plan that for you so you know exactly what you're going to do when you go. You're not just like, what are we going to do? I don't know. Who do we ask? I don't know. And then you're all over the place. No, you want to have, my clients want to have everything laid out for them. They want the red carpet rolled out for them because I want the red carpet rolled out for me. So let's see. Las Vegas. Yep. If you want to go, now's a good time to go. They opened last week. The Bellagio. They turned their fountains on for the first time in 78 days, and Caesar's Palace followed suit. Yes, indeed. One thing to note that these places are doing temperature checks. So please keep that in mind. So keep in mind that if you have a fever or a temperature of 100.4 Fahrenheit, you cannot enter their property, and please don't travel. They're also reminding people, if you have underlying conditions, please keep that in mind because they cannot be responsible for you getting sick or contracting of a disease again or a virus. Because when you know how contagious the coronavirus is, they can't be held responsible for that. So please, let's be wise. They're doing everything they possibly can. But if you're in those categories, you're in a high-risk category, contact me. There are other types of vacations that we can put together for you until things settle down, until they come up with a vaccine or until they come up with some better treatments. There are other things that you can do. You don't have to be a prisoner in your own home indefinitely. I feel like I've been a prisoner. I really do. Okay, so next, Universal Orlando. Wow. I am very happy to hear about them. So they're opening, right? They are open. Wow. So Universal Orlando, they're doing the same thing. That's the first thing they say. They say their safety measures start with you. Start with me. They're like, okay, you can't enter the park. or City Walk or any of our parks without having your temperature taken. And if you have a temperature of 100.4 Fahrenheit, 38 degrees Celsius, they're going to turn you away. They're not going to allow you to come in. So what they're also doing is they're requiring face coverings in the parks. Now, not every place, right? So Volcano Bay, right? You know, like some of the water parks and stuff like that, it doesn't make any sense. You know, I mean, they encourage you to wear them when necessary or as much as possible. But if you're in the water, they don't expect you to do that. You know, that makes sense, you know. So some of these places, they're encouraged, but not mandatory. But in the theme parks part, yeah, you got to wear it. So they're also going to do something similar to what Disney is going to be doing. They're going to have staff walking around, helping people, reminding them about social distancing, about washing your hands, using hand sanitizer, all those, wearing a mask, all those sorts of things. Their staff is going to be doing that. So they've also engaged in enhanced cleaning as well. They have markings all over the park, telling you, giving you ideas of how far you should be from a person. I went to Kohl's department store today, and, you know, I'm always looking on the floor because they have little circles on the floor of where you're supposed to stand. And I try to stand on them. Even in the gas station, they have little circles of where you're supposed to stand because we think, I know what 6 feet is. You don't know what 6 feet is. You know, this guy in the gas station, he was like laughing at me because I was like looking, I have my mask on. I do wear a mask. I have my mask on. I'm in the line at the gas station, going to pay for my stuff. And I'm looking on the floor. I'm looking at the lady in front of me, and I'm looking at him behind me. And I'm like, oh, let me get on this little circle here. And he's laughing because he's like, oh, yeah, you're okay. You know, it's just arm's length. I'm like, my arms are not 6 feet long. So I'm on the circle. I advise you to get on the circle too. So we're going to have, Universal Orlando is going to have people reminding people about these markings and staying socially distant from each other. So let's see, they're called guides, distance guides, all over the parks. And like I said, they're going to have team members to assist you. But the main thing they want you to do is get the app, the official Universal Orlando app, right? Because a lot of the attractions are not open. It's a big place. You don't want to be walking all over the place to go to these attractions you don't know. Use the app. You'll find out from the app what's open, as well as this is going to help, reduce contact. In some of the restaurants, use the app. You can order your food. They'll bring it to you, or you can pick it up. That's how they're doing the food. They can bring it to your table. That's how they want you to order it using your phone. That's pretty cool. I went to Chick-fil-A, and the line was so long, you know, and they're generally pretty fast. But I'm like, you know what? Let me go to curbside. So we drive to, my daughter and I, we love Chick-fil-A. We go to the curbside. We pull out our phones, download the app, order our food, sit there in the comfort of our vehicle, and these people bring the food to us. It's already paid for. Cool. So we're getting used to the social distancing stuff. It's actually pretty convenient, to be honest. So Universal is also talking about, is warning older adults or people who have underlying health conditions. You know who you are. You know what those things are. They're asking that you use wisdom, and they're telling you that you are at risk, you know, and they're discouraging you not to come to their theme parks at this time because they cannot guarantee that you won't get sick or you won't get exposed. They just can't do it. So now I talked about those things. What's going on? A couple of domestic locations. I talked about the Caribbean locations. Before I go, let me talk about Charleston. So I'm in Charleston, right? So going forward, I'm going to be promoting Charleston. So Charleston, South Carolina, as you know, it's a very historic place. And the Civil War started in Charleston, South Carolina. But now in Charleston, in light of things that have been going on in our country, people are more open and people are now discussing. And before these protests and before that tragic incident happened with George Floyd, I noticed that Charleston, the Historic Society, as well as other people in Charleston, the tourism industry, have been weaving African-American history into the history. So many times our history as African Americans has been omitted, you know, so they've been doing that. And the Gullah Geechee corridor, that's a corner here in Charleston. There are a lot of food, recipes and things like that's characteristic of the area that come from the Gullah Geechee culture. And the Gullah Geechee people, they're the descendants of slaves or enslaved people. I'm not going to say slaves, enslaved people who came here from Africa, who were brought here from Africa centuries ago, and they were slaves, and they brought with them, they were all mixed, because they didn't all come from the same ethnic group just because they're in Africa. Africa's a country. Today there are like 50 some odd countries there, but there are a lot of different countries. So just imagine the United States and South America, and I think Canada and Europe can fit in the continent of Africa. So just imagine how diverse the cultures are there. So all these people come from West Africa, and they're not all speaking the same language, So and they're someplace, and they're far away from their homeland, and they brought with them rice. They brought rice, they brought like sweet potatoes with them. They had those seeds. They brought this way of cooking and this way, that they sort of merged together and created this Gullah Geechee culture. And that's who my ancestors are. If you're here, or if your family is from the Charleston, South Carolina area. So we have a shared history. So, there's just a lot of things happening in Charleston. So this week, my daughter and I, my lovely assistant, will be going to the Charleston Harbor Resort and Marina for a staycation. And then I'm going to report back to you on what's going on downtown Charleston with the resorts, because the resorts have really, our tourism industry has suffered a lot because of the coronavirus, So, I really am going to take it, contribute to bringing, I'm going to be one of the influencers to try to bring people back to Charleston. So it's not all about the Civil War and just one side of history. So now it's a more realistic presentation of history by including everyone, in that history and the telling thereof. So that's really all I had to say for this evening. I just wanted to talk to you about what I do, get familiarized, get you to be familiarized with me, what I do, how I do it, who I serve. And that way you can decide if I'm the right travel advisor for you. But I just would like to say, I really appreciate you listening in, visiting me. I hope that you share this video. Share this video, like my page, share it with other people, even if there are other travel advisors out there. And I have friends that are travel advisors. So there are other travel advisors out there. What I'm saying, is true for them as well. We're small business owners, just like many of the small business owners that are downtown Charleston or downtown wherever you live, So I just wanted to come on. I just wanted to briefly talk about that. Sorry about my little snafu. I just got to get used to these tools. We're Zooming all over the place. We're StreamYarding all over the place. We're using Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn Live, all these lives. We just got to figure out how to pull them all together. Someday, somebody is going to come up with an idea where they're going to have one platform that they can do all of it from one thing, one console. So if you're an engineer out there, or you're computer scientists out there, and you heard that, think about that. That's something that we need in the travel industry, and we need it. A tool that's going to help us leverage video, the power of video in multiple platforms. So we don't have to fool around or finger around with the phone and the different platforms, and we're all over the place with it. But in any event, thank you for tuning in. This is Priscilla with Cilla Travel. I'm a travel agency owner, and I'm a travel advisor. I'm based out of Summerville, South Carolina, which is outside of Charleston, South Carolina. And I specialize in custom travel experiences. I do end-to-end travel planning. I help you realize your travel dream. I help you live the dream through travel. Be sure, again, to be sure to follow me, be sure to get on my calendar, get a discovery call, go to my website, www.cillatravel.com. if you're on Instagram, go to the bio. You'll see a button for a discovery call. It's a courtesy. If you want to talk about, just get on my calendar. There's also, if you look at Facebook and you click the contact button, it will take you to the calendar. So I just wanted to say thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. And if there's any destination that you want me to talk about, and if you want me to look into to see what's happening, just put it in your comments in this post. Let me know. And the next time I do a live, I'll come back with what I learned. Again, this is Priscilla with Cilla Travel signing off Sunday evening. You have a blessed one. Bye-bye. Bye, Instagram Live.